Okay, so ever since I've uploaded my 10 minutes of useless information about Thomas and Friends video, I've been slowly compiling even more useless information for quite some time now. And because I really like this video format, I present to you my sequel, 15 minutes of useless information about Thomas and Friends. So without further ado, let's begin. According to the production notes for Percy Takes a Plunge, Donald and Douglas were noted for possible use as Percy's friends alongside Bill and Ben. Bill and Ben were likely chosen because they, like Percy's friends in the original story, are not owned by the Fat Controller. The same could be said about Donald and Douglas, who aren't officially owned by the Fat Controller prior to the episode The Deputation. Douglas has had more lines than Donald in the entire series. Douglas has had a total of 131 lines, while Donald has had 123. However, that may change with their upcoming appearance to All Engines Go. The only Thomas, Percy, and James interaction written by Wilbur Awdry was in the episode Old Iron. It was so insignificant that there wasn't even an illustration of it in the Edward the Blue Engine book. Thomas only wears one face mask for the whole Series 2 episode Thomas and Trevor, which is referred to as his laughing face. However, despite only one face mask appearing in the episode, a deleted scene suggests that Thomas would have at some point worn a different mask on the viaduct. According to the De Gostini Thomas magazines, Diesel's real name is Rudolf. He was named after a real person, a German engineer called Dr. Rudolf Diesel. The movie Bullet Train is based on the Japanese novel by Katsuro Isaka, and although it includes several references to Thomas the Tank Engine, a few additional nods to the series from the novel were left out of the film adaptation, such as when the character Lemon compares himself and his co-worker Tangerine as the characters Donald and Douglas. One of the crew members constructed a model of a GNR Sterling single. This model impressed the rest of the crew members. Some even said that the cylinder casing and smokebox design looked like a woman's hair. This gave the crew the impression that this class of engine would make a perfect basis for a female character in the show, which led to Emily's creation and introduction in Season 7. Murdoch's My Story library book differs from the actual episode in the show. Instead of Toby, Salty and Harvey come to Murdoch's rescue. Murdoch's fire also goes out and thus cannot build up steam when he gets caught up with the sheep, another scenario that wasn't present in the episode. It is very likely that Murdoch's debut episode was originally meant to play out as this, since the My Story library book collection is infamous for keeping stuff that were later changed or cut from the final episode. The character Fergus had a bent funnel made for his model, which was meant for the episode Bill, Ben, and Fergus, when he got caught up in the landslide, but it was left unused during filming. Fergus's unused dented funnel can currently be found in the Drayton Manor exhibition. In the episode Halloween, the shots of the scrap engine is at Tidmouth, as Tidmouth Chaise is clearly visible. The original storyboards intended for the episode Thomas to the Rescue featured significant roles for both Bill and Ben. The reason the Fat Controller sent Thomas to the quarry was because Bill and Ben were needed repairs at the works, as revealed in the Steamy Stumpers quiz on Steamy's vs. Diesel's DVD. The special, Calling All Engines, features a scene that was cut out that included Bill and Ben, likely for the episode. In the episode Molly's Special, a few promo pictures show deleted scenes where Thomas was initially meant to meet Molly and find the tarpaulins at Kirk Ronan Junction, and not at the flour mill. Interestingly enough, one of the deleted scenes actually made it to the final cut, that being this shot. It is very evident that this set doesn't match the flour mill set from the final episode at all. One of the promo pictures revealed that Gordon was meant to pass by and insult Molly. Said scene of Gordon making fun of Molly was kept in the My Story library book. Bertie's model was never given a proper eye mechanism, so when he appeared in close-up shots during Season 8 to 9, his eye movements had to be edited. It wasn't until Season 10's Seeing the Sights where his eyes were no longer animated and instead had a fully working eye mechanism fitted. The Season 10 scripts revealed at the episode Thomas and the Treasure that James and Gordon were meant to be present at the docks when being told the pirate story. Gordon was later switched in favor of Emily. Furthermore, Henry was meant to have a scene with Thomas where he mocks his pirate hunt, but was switched out with James. The Flash game known as Sodor Races has the option to pick between Thomas, Percy, Duck, and Bertie, while the Japanese version of the game replaces Duck and Bertie with Hero and Bash. Railway Journey is another Flash game where the player must figure out where each engine is going. In the menu section, this illustration of Lady is traced from one of her ruler pictures. The German title for Season 11's episode, Don't Be Silly Billy, actually translates to, Oh, you stupid Billy. The Mayor's Yacht only appeared properly in one episode, that being its debut episode Thomas Set Sail from Season 11. However, just like many other models that were barely used, it is recreated in CGI for the season 13 opening sequence by Nitrogen. Diesel's ditch is a minor location exclusively from the magazine stories. It first appeared in the story titled Diesel's Ditch in 2001, when Diesel mocks Mavis for being cautious around the bend before colliding with it on a wintry day. It made another appearance in a magazine story called The Fat Controller's Diesels a year later, which is unusual for most magazine exclusive locations. In the US dub of the series, Michael Brandon gives Hector two different tones of voices, one of them being his normal, gruff voice that can be heard in his first appearance.
"Because I'm scared," moaned Hector. "I'm new," he groaned. "And I'm scared because I haven't been filled with cold before. I don't know what it feels like. That's why I didn't want to be shunted," he added.
While in Hector's next appearance in season 12, he is for some reason depicted with a Spanish accent.
"We need Edward's help. He could couple up to the front of the train. I'm a very heavy freight car. We must race down the hill at full speed. Then we will biff the train right through the snow."
Several behind-the-scenes photos reveal that Gordon's special coaches were in the yard by Titmuss Station during the production of the 12th season, despite never appearing in any scenes from the final version of the episodes. Speaking of Gordon's special coaches, the coaches were actually intended to be pulled by Spencer during Series 7. However, it was dropped in favor for Spencer's maroon coaches we are familiar with. In the beginning of the special, Hero of the Rails, Spencer greets the engines by saying,
"Hello, Sodor! What do you know?"
This is later repeated by Rocky towards the end of the special.
"Hello, Spencer. What do you know?"
It can be viewed as a callback of sorts. Another detail that can be observed about the special is Diesel being put in the background when Thomas is hesitant to tell Victor about Hero. He glances over at his direction, knowing an engine like him cannot be trusted.
He wanted to tell Victor, but he knew he couldn't. Other engines might hear, and then someone might tell Sir Topham Hatt.
On the 11th of November 2011, the official Thomas & Friends Twitter page posted a tweet that says, "Did you know there is no number 11 engine on Sodor?" Sure. The animation team's portrayal of the Shake Shake Bridge in the specials and series was significantly different from Shannon Miller's original concept. She imagined the bridge as a suspension bridge that sounded and felt worse than it actually was, rather than a partially fallen trestle. The Take and Play Rescue from Misty Island set has this original design. It's been noted that a sign with Hero's silhouette is displayed on one of the buildings in Misty Island. We know that according to Hero, Joby trees are either meant to be native to Japan at some point, were imported and planted on Misty Island, or vice versa. There's a theory going around by fans that there was likely some trade deal between Japan and Misty Island, so there was likely a time where engines from Japan, such as Hero, may have ended up on Misty Island to collect or deliver Joby wood. In Season 14's Diesel's special delivery, when the narrator says the pigs are going to the market, it is just a nicer way of saying the pigs are going to the slaughterhouse. So every time an engine takes some pigs to the market, they're on their way to be chopped up into pork. Despite being Nitrogen era-based DVDs, the studio Arc Productions were the ones behind making the covers for Sticky Situations and Muddy Matters, the DVDs. A scrap body of Markland can be seen in the special Blue Mountain Mystery when Thomas enters the Diesel Works. When Nitrogen Studios released the Rheneas' Runaway sequence to the public, it was revealed that initially the last two trucks would fall off from Rheneas' train during the collapse of Blunden Bridge. The Sodor Mail Van CGI model was originally made under Nitrogen Studios, according to some concept art that was shared. However, the model went unused until 8 seasons later in the 24th series. Sir Topham Hatt's main office, seen in Hero of the Rails onwards, features many portraits that are directly taken from the model series or episodes from the CGI series. There's this one that is from Emily's New Route, another one that's a promotional picture from James Goes Too Far, a calendar with a photo of Henry from the episode Toby's Afternoon, and lastly, 2 shots from the episode Creaky Cranky from Thomas and Victor respectively. He also has this obscure picture of an American locomotive which has a strong resemblance to the character Ferdinand. In an interview with a show writer known as Lee Pressman, he mentioned that he didn't write the ending of Who's Jeffrey and wasn't pleased with how the ending turned out. Despite never appearing in the CGI series or even just never speaking at all, Proteus had the speaking role in a podcast series named Thomas and Friends Storytime Series, where he gifts his lamp to Thomas on his journey.
Thomas felt a gust of wind coming from the tunnel. And then he heard a voice.
I am Proteus.
It was Proteus, an old mountain engine. Legend had it that Proteus had a magical lamp.
Proteus? I've heard tales about you.
Said story also utilizes the Train and Crane Super Tower set, given how Cranky, Carly, and Cassia all appear together in the story. The American Diesel in the movie Big World Big Adventures was actually a prototype design on how Frankie would have looked like, and according to more concept art for Journey Beyond Sodor, Frankie was originally going to be painted in a green livery, sort of resembling her basis. In the song titled Where in the World is Thomas, the word where is said 26 times. Counting on Nia holds the record for the longest duration of screen time that passes the Bechdel test, with 2 or more women engaged in conversation about topics other than men, the second being Dowager Hat's Busy Day, and the third being What Rebecca Does. Despite Boba era pairing up characters like Philip and Edward along with Henry and Rosie, there aren't any interactions that consisted between them. In fact, it was the opposite, as Edward got one scene with Rosie while Henry got one scene with Philip. Around July of 2018, this tweet was made by the official Jam-Filled Company Twitter page, revealing that the iconic title sequence will be replicated into a future episode during the Boba era. However, as we all know, this never came to be. While it's unknown for what episode or even special this scene was intended for, it is speculated that it could have been for the Royal Engine, because timeline-wise it wasn't far off with season 23 and 24's joint production. Some have also speculated that it could have been for Ruth's workshop, but those are just theories. Throughout season 2 of All Inches Go, Thomas was voiced by 3 different voice actors, the first being Misha Contreras.
Hey Percy, what's wrong? What? But everyone loves when you deliver the mail, Percy. Well, if you really feel that way, I hope you find something you like to do as much as delivering the mail.
The second one being Aaron Barashi, which sounds like this.
Hey Percy. Yeah, I guess I didn't really sleep that well. That's right. I wonder what kind of special deliveries we'll get. Beach balls? Folding chairs? Ooh, maybe colorful umbrellas.
And finally, Kai Harris, who is the current voice of Thomas, which sounds like this.
Yeah, it's a very nice rock with a map of Sodor on it. Fun to go to the beach, then just look at it from up here? Sure. Come on, let's show them why Sodor is the best place on Earth!
It can be noted that Nia is strangely missing her whistle in the reboot. While it has not been confirmed by animators, it is very likely that they mistook her Westinghouse pump for her whistle. This statement is further supported as we do see steam coming from her Westinghouse when she whistles in the show. In the episode Bruno's Blustery Day, according to the writer of the episode, Daniel Sher Storm, Sandy was going to have a bigger role in the story rather than a quick cameo at the end. She was going to accompany the main cast throughout the episode and offered to fix Diesel's brakes before he went flying off Cannonball Curve, but her presence felt unnecessary to the overall plot, so she was cut. According to the Hit Era Bible, Salty has traveled and worked as a dockyard diesel in different ports around the world. Coincidentally, when All Engines Go reintroduces the character, they address his absence by stating Salty was busy traveling the world.
Awesome! When did you get back? I thought you were traveling the world, having adventures!
Oh, I was! And that's how I know the story I'm about to tell ye. About the pirate treasure of Sodor.
Bruno's small shed, seen in the 3rd series of the reboot, reuses some assets of a similar blue shed seen in the Season 1 episode, License to Deliver. In Season 20's Mike's Whistle, the word stupid was replaced with silly when Mike exclaims,
Oh, show! Go on! Right, this is the last straw. Get out of my way, you silly animal!
Instead of the original,
Mike felt exasperated. He tried whistling. He wanted to say, get out of my way, you stupid animal! But he didn't get far.
This change was probably done to avoid any backlash for the television show's references to inappropriate language to young viewers. In the Korean version of the Railway series book known as Mountain Engines, the Culdee engines are depicted with no rear faces in the end. Any illustrations featuring them were edited out. The book, Thomas and the Evil Diesel, was written by request of the television series producers, but was never adapted into an episode. However, Diesel being the only spare engine available was a plot device used in the television series at least several times in different seasons. I'd like to thank everyone who helped me over at my Twitter for suggesting facts and lesser known pieces of trivia. If you saw your fact mentioned on here, let me know. I'd also like to thank the one and only Unlucky Tug for choosing my last video as Pick of the Week in his Thomas and Friends Theories video. It was honestly a big surprise to see my own video get a mention, so I thought what better way to celebrate this accomplishment by making a sequel. Thank you so much for watching.